This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hello, pet lovers. This is Michelle Fern, your host on Best Pets for Pets. So what do you do when you get a new pet or you have a change, of life? You maybe have a new baby or you have a new house or something. You think about how I can contain my pet, right? What kind of gate? What should I get? Or maybe you are moving and have the opportunity to put in a pet door or something like that. What do you do? Well, my next guest is going to talk all about their fantastic pet gates and pens and beds and all kinds of great stuff for you. So we'll be right back. Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. cattreetray.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I'd like to welcome Chelsey Christiansen. She's the digital marketing manager of Carlson Pet Products. Welcome, Chelsey.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad to have you on Best Pets for Pets, so thank you so much. So let's talk about gates. Actually, before we talk about gates, how did Carlson Pet Products come about and decide, we need to make gates for pets?
Yeah, absolutely. So Carlson Pet Products, they're a family-owned company. They have a love for pets. All 3 children now are adults and work for the brand, have come back and now work for the brand. And their parents still own the company. It's, I believe, around 15 years old now. And the owners have always had animals, and they saw a need to create a gate more specifically designed for animals. So taking, what you'd consider your typical baby gate, adding a small pet door so that a little bit smaller animals can more easily go in and out through a gate, or you can, leave that shut and have them contained to a certain area. But they found that that was going to be a super helpful product for pet owners, whether that's keeping, a big dog on one side and letting the smaller dog or, cat go through, or using that door in order for just small dogs to be able to go in and out. So their goal in general has, always been to kind of create products that make life with your pets easier. And throughout the years have added many more gates to the lineup, and also other, pet products that, make travel a little easier, or just, having a space for your dog that they can call their own to be a little bit easier for dog owners.
So Carlson Pet Products, I know that they, of course, they make gates. We talked about that just now. They also make crates. What other products do they make?
Yeah. So like you said, a wide variety of gates, and then also kind of like your standards in terms of like a pet crate that would fold down, the metal pet crate pads to go into that crate. But I guess more uniquely, Carlson also makes like a line of portable products. Like we have a foldable elevated pet bed. And so the real premise for that bed is that it kind of gets your dog off the ground. They then kind of lay on more of a canvas bed, and that would fold up just like a typical bag chair, really, so that you could bring that anywhere you are going. A lot of people like to use it when they go camping or they're spending time outdoors, so that when they get into the tent for the night, their dog is not jumping into the bed with them, just full of dirt. And then we also make like a portable pet pen That also kind of folds like your typical bag chair, so you can easily bring it with you wherever you're going. It has a carry bag, and it's kind of like this just comfortable space that your dog can have, indoors or outdoors. I've always found that it works really well if you are in some sort of outdoor space that doesn't have, a fence or a place that your dog is going to be contained, especially if they're maybe a little bit more of a runner. So it just gives them their own space. We know that people utilize it often when they have a puppy, who's kind of in that, like, I want to chew on every single one of your items. And so it kind of keeps them in one space, but gives them some freedom to play with toys that are acceptable and learn kind of some boundaries as well.
What would you say, because I'm just curious about this, what would you say is the most popular product at Carlson Pet Products?
Yeah, I would say gates are kind of our bread and butter. So they're definitely our most popular. We have over, I think, 30 styles of gates. So customers can kind of choose like what works best for their life. Some people really enjoy, that just the standard, pressure mount gate that has like a walk-through door. And then others might want like flexibility and have like more of a freestanding gate that, you can easily just move around the house or to other rooms that you may want to, block entrance to. One of the things that we have found in the last few years is there's a lot more like open concept house plans. And so we have a gate that can span like 13 feet and allows you to kind of separate, a space if you are needing to do that. I would say another popular product, especially like socially, that we see is the elevated dog beds. People that are wanting to really like get out and do adventures with their pets or travel with their pets have really enjoyed having the pet bed because they can, fold it up really small and, take it with them, whether they're just, on a road trip or if they're actually carrying a backpack and doing like longer hikes. People have, strapped it to there and, on breaks are able to give their dog a place to rest.
Okay, I want to ask you another question about gates before I tell you about my experience with gates.
Yes.
But how would you suggest for a pet parent, if they're looking for a gate, what they would look for besides, I know you said length, of course, and I didn't even know they went up to 13 feet. And you're right, there are a lot of open concept type homes these days, but they're up to 13 feet is amazing. I mean, that's fabulous. What else would pet parents have to look into? I mean, obviously the dog size or cats, maybe for cats, the height. What are some things they could think about before they purchase a gate?
Yeah. I think people, of course, typically think of like a gate for like a, new puppy or a very rambunctious dog, which are, wonderful solutions. But often, I guess we hear like customers utilizing them to like keep their dog from, like chowing down on like the delicacy of like kitty litter. That's always been a big, a big thing that dogs seem to just really want to go after, or like from constantly, counter surfing and stealing food from the kitchen. I know we had a customer who really wanted a gate to block off her kitchen. She had smaller dogs and she was always just like, they were, of course, in there thinking they might get some food. And she was always so scared that, she was moving around the kitchen trying to cook and that she would, accidentally step on them. And they were small dogs. And that was something that she was nervous about doing. So wanted a gate to, really help protect her pets while she was, making dinner. And we've also actually had a lot of wonderful stories, both about using gates to kind of introduce new pets to each other. So if you're bringing a new pet into your home, that like barrier of a gate is kind of like this safe space for pets to kind of like interact and get comfortable before you just throw them truly into the same room with each other. And we've also heard that, similar story around people who do foster care for dogs, and that having a gate to kind of separate some spaces, especially with like a foster dog that may be a little more skittish or needs a little bit more breaks and needs kind of their own space to be able to go to. A gate, offers that space, but doesn't seclude them in a way that like they can't see. It's not a closed door. They can see through it, but it still provides them security that they have a space to go to.
All right, we're going to take a short break and I'm going to tell you how I utilized Carlson Pet Gate, and it's a little different than what you described. So I found yet another need for my sneaky cats. But we'll be right back after this message. Hey guys, Michelle Fern here. I want to tell you about Carlson Pet Products. They're a family-owned, budget-conscious company specializing in creating pet safety products to keep your pet happily protected from puppy through senior years. They have some great products: pet pans, folded elevated beds, crates, and pet gates. Their pet gates fit any size opening in your home. Most gates have a walk-through door for humans and a small door for your pet to go through. I've had a Carlson Pet Gate in my home for years and absolutely love it. And best of all, you're going to get 25% off and free shipping. Just visit carlsonpetproducts.com. And again, you'll get 25% off your order plus free shipping with the promo code PETLIFE.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking to Chelsey Christiansen from Carlson Pet Products, and we're talking about gates. And Chelsey, okay, I have right now in my household, we were 3 cats, 2 dogs. Now we're 3 cats, 1 dog. Mr. Zeus is in doggy heaven. So anyway, how I utilized my gate, I have in my office, I have a lot of electronics, as most people do, a lot of wires. And cats have this thing with wanting to sit on wires. I think it's the hum. There's like a vibration or something, which freaks me out like crazy. And the other thing is some cats, which Molly is always gets into everything. She's the youngest. She's so curious. She likes to chew wires. And so what I did was I put a gate up because when I'm working, she doesn't like if she can't see me. So it's not a matter of closing the door. That's not going to work because then I hear meows or scratches, whatever. So I put up a gate. And you would think, okay, cats, they jump, right? Well, I don't know if she's just lazy or what, but she doesn't.
Yeah, that's great. We have definitely heard, both sides of that story, but there's a lot of cats that, see that barrier and they just say, well, that's my barrier.
Yeah. Okay. So Chelsey, I also used a crate to introduce Molly. It was actually to her sister. So as you were saying, the gate can be a great way to introduce pets to each other. The crates can too. And I've never used a crate for a cat before. I've crate trained dogs before, which I don't think there's any negative to that because you're not putting them inside the crate to punish them. You're putting them inside the crate so they don't get hurt, right? And there's all kinds of sizes. So it's not like they're contained to a tiny little spot.
Yeah. And we have a lot of blog articles and we do a lot of, conversations about crate training. And yeah, the main goal of crate training is definitely not for punishment. It really is to provide your dog or cat. We've definitely seen a lot of cats that enjoy being in the crate, that they have their own space. Like in your home, they have a space that's dedicated to them. It can be a safe spot. My previous dog loved his crate. Every time, I would just say, hey, it's time to go to bed. He would get up from his other bed, run into his crate and settle in for the night. And sometimes if he was a little nervous or there was a lot of action happening, throughout our house, which is very common with a house full of, pets and kids, he would just go in there because that was his spot to be, rather than having to deal with potentially being trampled on by toddlers.
I've heard over and over again that the best way to kind of get your dog used to a crate is to make it like it's his home, his or her home.
Yeah, we often talk about that. And we've talked about we kind of talk about that as well with some of the larger pet gates that I was referring to, that, you can use them to span across a whole room, or you can kind of make them into, because they're very flexible. So you can kind of make them into a room within your living room even that is dedicated to your pet. So it'd be almost like their space. So I think people utilize that in training to get dogs comfortable, not only with a crate, but maybe a portion of your house too, so that they always feel like they have a place to go.
That's a great idea. How would someone decide what size, whether it's, maybe you could tell us both for a size for a gate, what size to choose for a gate, if, what things to consider. I know we discovered most, but maybe the main facts of what to consider when you're thinking about getting a gate.
Yeah. I think that's a great question because it's kind of overwhelming when you first look at gates. You're like, what would I choose? And I think we always suggest, like, our number one suggestion would be to measure your opening so that you know when you're selecting a gate that it's actually going to work well for the space that you have. And often, people will buy a gate, and then we do offer like extensions for that gate. So, if you can't find a gate, within the lineup or you want a very specific one, you can often add like an extension to it so that it could fit the size of opening. But we always recommend, making sure you measure that opening so that, hopefully you're not disappointed and that it doesn't fit. And then I think like the next step when you're looking for a gate is really determining like what you plan to use it for. Do you want to be able to move it more freely? So like a freestanding gate, it's not pressurized to the wall. It's not hardware attached to the wall. It is just, it stands there and it can be moved around. Or do you want, more of a stationary gate, one that would be, pressurized or hardware mounted to an opening? And then the last thing to consider is also like the height of the gate. We offer ones that are more of your standard size. And then we also offer like an extra tall gate. And so if you do have like a really large dog or a jumper, you would probably benefit from like an extra tall gate so that the chances of them wanting to scale it would be lower. But also then on the, other side of the spectrum, if you have a really small dog, you would probably benefit from a gate. We have like a gate called the mini gate. It's only like 18 inches tall. But for your really, toy or tiny dogs, it's helpful because you can still easily just step over that gate. But the bars are a little bit closer together, and some of those really like teacup or tiny dogs are less able to just like sneak right through the bars.
That is great information. What about for crates? Are there any kind of rule of thumb kind of suggestions when you're thinking about getting a crate?
Yeah.
Whether it's training or just for a crate so your dog has like a little home or...
Yeah, definitely. So, once again, kind of deciding in a way what you will utilize it for, but also, like on our website, as you're looking at crates, you're able to like measure your dog or get an idea of what size they will be when they are fully grown. And then, checking with those sizes helps you determine what size crate will make sure that your dog is comfortable in it. So usually it's based off of the measurement, like length and height of your dog. And that helps you decide, what size of crate would ideally fit them. But we often see people buying, a crate when their dog is a puppy. They want to start training, as soon as they're a puppy so that they become more comfortable. It's just kind of a thing that's in their life. You certainly can purchase a crate that would be, their size in the moment and then, continue to upgrade the crate as they grow. Often people will just buy a crate, for what they think their dog will be when it is full grown, and then utilize like the metal divider that comes with the crate and make it a smaller space while their dog is a puppy, and then slowly, increase that space with the divider until their dog is, out of that puppy stage.
Is there any kind of rule that the crate should be double the length of your dog or anything like that?
I don't fully know like all of like the rules of thumb on it. I know that we pretty much solely base size of crate on the size of your dog. And then we add a certain amount of length and height so that there would be the ability for the dog to walk into the crate and easily turn around and also be either standing, sitting, or laying. So we do make the crates large enough based on the size of the dog so that, they have like full functionality while they would be in it.
Okay, that's also really, really good information because some people, and there's a lot of new pet parents out there,
yes,
just aren't aware.
Yeah.
So can you give us any updates or any new products that Carlson Pet Products is thinking about for the future?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that we have really enjoyed doing is ideating and trying to come up with new products and ways to make, existing products even better. I know we do have a few products kind of in the pipeline. One is a pet ramp. So that will, be helpful for your senior dog or your disabled dog, or dogs that just, shouldn't be jumping as much. A lot of like dachshunds or corgis, although they like to jump, it really should be more limited that they do that, because they can end up having some problems, down the road when they do that. So that will be a ramp that will be best used, helping dogs getting in and out of a vehicle, but also could probably be helpful, with some furniture and stuff. It's not steps, it is a ramp. So, but it could help, in certain like furniture settings too. And then we also have a new pet stroller, which will be great. That will probably fit your more small to, I guess I would say tiny to small dog or cat. And so the design on that is, I guess, designed to be nice and roomy, but also, provide a lot of air and ventilation and ability to see out. We've definitely noticed that, the pet stroller has become a more popular item for many reasons. Of course, senior dogs, again, are a reason that it is helpful. They just can't, walk as far, but they do want to get out. Dogs with some disabilities, or even puppies, they want to get out and they like run 100 miles an hour for, a half a city block, but then they just lay down. And so,
you know what, the whole stroller thing, I used to think, and maybe this was kind of a not snooty way, but reverse. I used to think pet strollers, in a sense, were silly. Okay.
Yes.
Honestly. But then you think about it, and it's really very kind and loving for a pet parent, because most of the time they're smaller dogs. Smaller dogs can only walk so far. And even 10 or 15 pounds when you're carrying them, after a while, it's going to be, a lot. In a stroller, they can go out. They can go, there's a lot of stores they can go into, and it's much better than walking. And it's also nice when it's so hot. We're recording in the summer. It's in some places, I'm in South Florida, it's always hot. You can only walk a dog for so far before and the ground is hot. So a stroller is just a great idea,
Yeah.
I'm seeing so many more of those, and I'm just more and more, I'm thinking, what a great idea. I mean, I've never seen, you don't see them for large dogs, of course, but who knows for the future, if you have a little dog that's maybe 40 pounds, but doesn't want to walk that much, who knows?
Absolutely. And in the marketplace in general, we've noticed such a amazing rescue system now that people are opening up their hearts to take on, dogs with disabilities, and a lot more goes into having that, a dog that has a disability or something that inhibits them. And so sometimes like your ramps, your pet strollers, gates, all of those types of things, can be a helpful resource for a pet parent, especially as they're, adjusting to having a dog with a disability.
That's another great idea too, because yes, we are seeing more of that. And that just makes my heart happy, because those are so many. That means there's people that adopt dogs that have disabilities are just so special. And it's that many. And for people that adopt senior pets, because that's that many more fur babes that are in loving homes rather than the alternative.
Absolutely.
Chelsey, what about using gates for older dogs?
Yeah, we've definitely seen that a lot more frequently now. I think as dogs age, they often have deteriorated sight or hearing. Plenty of things deteriorate as we get older. So kind of protecting areas like stairs or just rooms that you really don't want a dog to go into can be really helpful, so that there's not any like unwanted accidents. My previous dog, as he aged, became blind. So I had a blind senior dog, and we used gates a lot in our house. We probably had like 4 gates up, one especially at the stairs, to really help keep him like in the areas of the house that were like better dog proofed, kind of for his eyesight, since he was completely blind at one point. We also kind of utilized the pet pen at one point. That's actually what he used to always sleep in his crate, but it was becoming harder for him to just kind of be in that, being blind. And so we actually ended up moving him to using the portable pet pen as his like bed every night. So he had, a big comfy bed in there, but had the space because he seemed to like want to get up a little bit more often. And it was just a lot better for him. Yet he had a very contained barrier. So he wasn't going to wander around and get lost in a corner in the middle of the night.
Those are such great ideas and great ways to, make your home safer for an older pet.
Yeah.
And so many dogs do have eyesight that deteriorates as they get older. It's so much more common than, we would think.
Absolutely. Yeah. And unfortunately, all of our dogs get older.
Where can we purchase Carlson Pet Products?
Yeah. So we offer a lot of our products, directly on our website. We also have a large presence on Amazon, PetSmart, Petco, and Chewy. So pretty much nearly any spot that you would be shopping for your pet, you would be able to get Carlson Pet Products.
Okay. And I want to let all of our listeners know we have a special offer from Carlson Pet Products, and your website is carlsonpetproducts.com.
Yes.
And everyone, you got 25% off your order plus free shipping with the code PETLIFE. And your prices are very, very reasonable. I was pleasantly surprised.
That has definitely been a goal of the company, is to try to, make kind of that budget conscious products that are going to be helpful in your pet's life.
Wow, I really enjoyed talking to Chelsey at Carlson Pet Products. And just in case, if you missed it, Carlson Pet Products is offering all of the listeners at Pet Life Radio a fantastic promotion. 25% off your order plus free shipping with the code PETLIFE. So go check out the Carlson Pet Products. It's carlsonpetproducts.com. 25% off your order with free shipping, and the code is PETLIFE. And I'd like to thank my guest for coming on Best Bets for Pets, telling us more about Carlson Pet Products, the gates and the pens. And, I didn't even know they had gates up to 13 feet. That's amazing. Thanks to Nikki and Molly, Dennis and Charlotte, because you are why I know about Carlson Pet gates. I have 2 in my home and they are wonderful. I don't know what I did before them. They're just great. And thanks, of course, to everyone listening to Best Bets for Pets. I so appreciate it. And thank you, Mark Winter, my producer, for making me and my guests sound wonderful. So, hey, keep listening. You never know what we're going to have on Best Bets for Pets.
Let's Talk Pets every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.